let's get into some of these quick fire player ratings. Let's
Yep.
just go through 1 to 17, and then we'll wrap things up after that. We'll start off with C&K here. I mean, you gave him that 1 point. Yeah, if I look back on it, C&K was just being himself, doing his thing. But those little details are so important. I've probably given him in the 7.5 range. From my view, probably could have been an 8. Where do you have him, just from your observations of that game?
Yeah, I'm going to give him an 8, possibly an 8.5, something like that, just to put him over the edge. As I discussed before, I had him my 3-2-1, but very consistent performance. This was a chance performance, and this is what he can do week in, week out. And I think that's the quality of Chance, is that he can put his performance on week in, week out.
Yeah, no, absolutely fantastic. And just re-signed, so it's good to have a positive performance for himself and especially his family as well. Tane, again, low-key, one of his better games. Shut down a lot of issues defensively, was fantastic. Found his own way to get involved. Just quickly, Ash, what has he got for yardage numbers?
136 run meters at the moment on NRL.com. 54 post-contact meters for a small body is very, very solid.
Very solid. Look, that's in the same range for me, 7.5, 8 potentially. Agreed. Just on his work rate, and you don't see it all the time. We'll just hit Jazz quickly as one of our channel members. Because I'm as part of the game, just quickly, what would you rate the game, entire team effort for this one? I've got to go 8
I'm right there
overall, or even 8.5 for the totality, Jazz. It was one of the best performances. And again, it was like I said, we've always said, be professional. It was a professional performance. It was, a team that's struggling, and we made them continue to struggle. We didn't make them feel like they were world beaters. And I actually put it down, Jazz, to the defense predominantly, but there was some really good attack tonight as well. Ash, what would you say for Jazz?
Yeah, I'm right there with you, bro. I'm going to give it an 8. I think it's one of our better performances out of all our performances this year, right? I think Manly is definitely up there, but I think the difference between this one, Manly had a lot of really big opportunities through big line breaks from positions, and our defense covered in those. I think our defense did really well tonight to not make the Newcastle Knights look like, they've come back, right? And I think that was the biggest stress coming into this game. We've seen the Warriors crumble under pressures of teams that we should be beating, right? Especially desperate sides. Remember last year, Anzac Day, the Titans coming in, I think it was an 0-7 run, and they beat us. We shouldn't have let that happen in that game, and that caused one of our big runs of losses. This could have been one of those moments all over again. Newcastle, very desperate. Their attack couldn't get going, and we held him out, and that's professional. That's what we should be doing. Yep. Again, I go back to, I hate to harp on, and Brody, if you're in the chat, I'm very sorry to do this again, but the Doggies, a desperate Broncos side came up against them over the weekend. The Doggies should have got that done, especially the teams that were on the park. And obviously the Broncos did what they did. So we could have been in that same situation, and I think the boys were very good to not allow that to go that way.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Okay, Rocco Berry. Look, I have him in actually around a 7, and it's not a negative 7. It's actually a positive. He actually shut down most of the attacks down his side.
Agreed.
And I think that was actually the performance I think was good for Rocco to come back into. I think it's what we want to see from him. Just a quiet worker. That intercept that he put over Marju,
big.
That was massive, and he nailed it. So I got to give him just a solid 7 for now. But definitely we're going to see more out of him as he comes along. What do you have, Ash, for Berry?
Yeah, right there with you, bro. I'm going to go with 7, close to a 7.5. As I said, that big moment of the intercept, he was always chasing on those kicks. I think that's just going to get more and more better out of him over time, right? When he gets his fitness back up again. I thought he was really solid for us out there. Shout out to Rocco.
Yeah. Ali Leatoa, another one with a try assist. Just rock solid, man. Ali, I know Lecker gets Keith talked about as well. Lecker gets a lot of the plaudits for being the strike player that he is, but Ali's just been so professional as a young guy. I've got him in at 7.7 for a 7.5 range. The try assist was great. Just his low-key efforts have been fantastic. Defensively, they really shut down. Probably just that one read on Gagai with him and Pompey cross lines, and maybe that's the only flaw. But apart from that, absolutely perfect. What do you have, man?
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm going to give him a 7. I think that he had a really, really solid performance out there. Again, on a very experienced centre out there on Dane Gagai. Obviously got him one time out there, but Dane Gagai can do that to some of the best centres in the competition. Last year, Dane Gagai led the comp in tackle breaks from memory. So he's no stranger to really putting centres off his game. And I thought from the rest of it, I thought Ali shut him down for the most of it in this game. The only thing I'd hold Ali back for is in that grubber in behind. I know it's sometimes the slippery conditions. He needed to be better there. That would have been a try on the board for him as well. But it was great to see him get himself in that position as well. But 7, I thought he was really, really solid. Again, as you said, like Alasima, he's got his name up in lights. But Ali, from the start of the season, he's just work week in, week out. He's always been a good performer for us.
Yeah, no, that seems fair. Okay, Pompey, again, a double, a few errors that could have led to a try. You got a try assist, I think, as well. So, you almost want to give him a 7.5. I don't want to go up to 8. There were some errors there, but the double, maybe you get him up to an 8. I got him in around the 7.5 range. What do you have?
Yeah, I'm going to go 7.5. I think the 2 tries obviously push him up to a 7.5 for me. We also got to remember playing centre. He plays centre for the majority of his career, trained at centre this year, getting pushed out to the wing due to the injuries that we have to our wingers and that. And centres shouldn't be caught in the same position as wingers in those positions with the bombs to the corner. He will need to continue to learn and get better in those positions. But overall, I thought he had a really solid game in the middle of the field. Obviously the drops to the kicks is obviously the struggle for him at the moment. But as a winger, non-winger, that's becoming a winger, just to fill a spot, I think he's done a great job. 171 metres in this game as well, 53 post-contact. And obviously 2 line breaks, 1 line break assist. Well done.
Yeah.
A great performance for me.
Yep, and it's good to see our wingers get over the line. Shout out to Tane, which was pretty much close to a try as well. So, but no, good for Pompey to get a double there. CHT, I've got him in as a probably around a 7.5. I'm going to go a solid 7.5. Those kicks that he was putting up were just it's probably been something he's been doing all season, and it's been effective. I really stood out for me. Defensively solid again. I've got him in that range. Maybe that one era when we were kind of trying to build momentum, and it kind of That's it. What do you have for the man CHC?
Yeah, I'm gonna go it's tough. I'm gonna go 7.5. I thought that his defense was really solid throughout this whole performance there. Very noticeable. He shut down a lot of good players on that edge. I'm with you, bro. I think those kicking options that he has, about 20 out from the line, put it to the corner, it just floats in the air, hang time, allows the boys to get under the ball and contest it. And obviously we came dividends a couple of times due to those kicks, right? So I thought they had a really good performance here. And as I said, I think his defense is probably the big, show in his game. And I think week in, week out, he hasn't really done a foot wrong defensively for me.
Yeah. He's been fantastic. He's well deserved his spot, and let's go now to Metcalf again. For me, he was the amount of numbers I've given him. I think he was man of match for me, so I'm giving him probably 8.5 personally.
Yep,
I thought that the intercept was awesome. The attacking structure has been really, really good. Just apart from the kicking, I just want him just to work on those types of kicks. That's that kind of dead zone. His actual field kicking was fantastic. The height on the kicks were great, pinning Marju down, consistent, and defensively was, apart from that last one. But yeah, for me, I got him in the 8.5. I really enjoyed watching him tonight. I thought he was awesome.
Yeah, I'm going to be right there with you with an 8, though. I think that was a very, very good performance from him. I think defensively, he was really, really strong. As I said before, he made that big cover tackle to cause the error of, Greg Marshall going out on that try-scoring ability, right? He's done that before in other contests, and he's really showing on that end. And I'm loving his attacking moments as well. I thought our shape tonight really connected fairly well for me. I think that we looked really nice. Off the back of, I think he was the one that put Aaron Clark through the hole that ended up causing the offload for the Jackson Ford try as well. So he had a lot of big moments with the ball as well. The intercept try to add on to the back of that, and should have got another try assist off of Ali Leatoa with that grubber in behind. I love that grubber option for him. I would love to see him use that probably a little bit more over time. So I'm going 8 overall. I thought he was really solid out there. And he's showing week in, week out that he's growing in a halfback jersey. So shout out to Luke Metcalf.
Yep. Okay, let's go now to Marata new quarter. I've actually got Marata in about a 4.55. I know it's a bit rough. The sin bin was tough, but it's fair. He had a strip as well, but I'm maybe being a little bit harsh on him. The carries in the second half were pretty good as well. I am knocking him back a little bit for that. But what would you have for Marata yourself, Ash?
No, I don't think you're being too harsh at all, bro. Obviously the sin bin to start the game, it sucks, right? The head position probably dropped really quickly. He didn't have too many minutes to really show out in that game either, due to the head knock that he had, bringing him off at the end of that game, in middle part of that game as well. But I'm going 4.5, maybe a 5 as well. Like, I thought that he had a lot of solid moments in the middle, and I kind of prefer him still in the middle at the moment, especially with Lecker and those boys out there. But yeah, I'd say that with more time, I'd give him more of a higher score of like a 6 or something like that. I think that he was probably our poorest out there tonight for me.
Yep, he was. Yeah, I agree. Egan again. I'll probably go with solid 8, but again, he's so pivotal to everything we're doing. For me, he's actually. It's like having another half out there in a different way. So he's not making these massive line breaks like, when I think of like Souths last year when we played Souths, and he was just so instrumental. What he's doing is, Wade Moses. He's doing stuff like getting 6 gains, knowing to like he's just getting this kind of death by 1,000 paper cuts in terms of his play that he's it's a different Egan, and it's a more controlled, more clued on even. Even the try he got from South, like. So yeah, I got to give him in the 8 range as well. I thought he was like really, really good, low key, like really good. Like I thought again, like very pivotal to us. Maybe even 8.5. I really liked this game.
Yeah, I'm going to go that 8 to close to the 8.5 as well. As I said, being my second best player of the match. I thought that, again, I completely agree with you, bro. It's all the little things he does in this game. He sets the tempo of the match. He gets us to all the points we need to get to. He helps out our halves immensely in the competition. He's probably the best hooker, one of the best hookers of the competition, where he notices markers out off a square. He points them out to referees. He gets the extra meters off the back of that. Did that numerous times tonight. But when you say all those little things, is all the little things I'm excited for more of the back end of his career, to where like continuing on to what he builds to. As I said, Cam Smith, I'm not saying he's Cam Smith, and I don't want people to know that, because Cam Smith is on leagues above, right? But he's got that very similar ability to control the match in that sort of way, and that will only come more so time and experience in that hooker jersey. He's still not like that old either, so he's starting to get into his real prime moments, and I think he's growing a lot. I'm very, very excited to continue to have him, and again, getting through a game, not too many injuries, not too many head knocks, doesn't get himself caught in the wrong position anymore. He can play a big minute game and control the whole game from the outset. So big performance, 8.5.
Yeah, 8.5. Thank you guys. Just please hit that like. Thank you, Jazz, for sharing that with us as well. And Southside, good to see you, channel member Southside. Thanks, man. Yeah, another fantastic win. Let's go now to Barnett again. Just Captain Barnett, just doing what he does. You can't take it. I got to give him a solid 8.
Agreed.
You just can't take away from the man. Just that consistent guy. He's been absolutely awesome. What do you have for him?
Yeah, captain, bro. I got to give him an 8. Like, big moments, right? This is what he brings. As I said, that moment when Newcastle scored that first try in the second half, where we needed something off the bench, we go, all right, Mitch, Aaron, get out there and change the contest again. And they did that. The Schiller moment where Schiller tried to crab across field, he dragged it back in the in goal with Aaron Clark. Those are the things that Mitch Barnett does well, right? So I'm going an 8 for him. I thought he was incredible. Obviously, didn't have these like big, huge moments, but he had a lot of big moments that probably a lot of people, when they rewatch the game, they'll notice him even more over time, right?
Levon, we did talk about this a little bit, man. We don't think we're quite there. We're not going to jump the gun right now. It does feel a bit mixed bag, but I think me and Ash are still in the top 8 range. We don't want to, things can change, but it's a good feeling, bro. So appreciate that, bro. Appreciate you sharing 100%. Through on that. But we're still in that, right? We're kind of around top 8. We're feeling top 8, maybe top 6.
Maybe.
But it's a great feeling to have. Okay, let's go now to Lecker. I've got to give Lecker probably about 7.5.
Agreed.
And he's doing what he's doing is as a starting role, it's totally different. You know what I mean? It's totally something unique, and we need to respect that. But he's still being really, really effective. So I'm not
Yeah.
going to give him into the eight range. He was off the field for quite a while. He didn't do any errors. Was absolutely fantastic. So I'll give him in the 7.5 range for me.
Yeah, I'm going to go 7.5. And when we say that, that's a really good thing for Lecker. Young
That's great.
kid,
That's great.
especially for the type of player that he is. More than likely, a young kid, 19 years old, would have these shoot amazing games and then probably drop off a cliff the next game, then having an amazing game the next week, right? You look at players like Dave Fafita and that, they still struggle with that, and they're some of the top players in those positions, right? So 40 minutes that he had out there, 125 run meters, 34 post contact. The big thing I love about Lekatu now, so 23 tackles, only one miss on the edge. And that was an edge with Dylan Lucas on. And Dylan Lucas, as I said, I'm very high on Dylan Lucas as a player. There was a couple of moments where, he was just perfect in the perfect position each and every time for a young kid, bro. 7.5, and that should never be put as a negative. We should always look at it as a positive because we know the level this kid can get to. He can have a 9, 10 performance out of nowhere. But if he can hold those 7.5s week in, week out, so his low levels are at that point, that's it. You know what I mean? It's not a point. This wasn't last week of Lecker going, oh my God, this kid is like out of this world. But this is his low performance. This low performance is still incredible. So very, very happy to see this.
Yeah, it is. It's well explained by Ashley, guys. Katewell, similar range, got 7.5 for him. He was low key really, really good. That early in the game, the line breaks, the pass to Pompey to get the ball out quickly off the tip back.
Yep.
Just rock solid for me. I'll give him 7.5 as well. I've got no issue with that. What about yourself, Ash?
Yeah, I'm going 7.5, probably close to pushing an 8. So we put him at like a 7.8. Yeah, we'll go for these decimal points like this. Right? But all the little things, bro. Kurt Katewell continuing to do all the little cleanup areas. I thought defensively he was really stout tonight as well. Just always popping out in all big key moments, setting up that try for Adam Pompey in the contest as well. 33 tackles, 2 missed tonight. Just noticeable all across the park. So, Kurt Katewell, great performance. I'll give him a 7.5 just to hold it at that. Great performance.
Yep. Aaron Clark, again, yeah, he's got to be in the 8.5 for me. I thought, again, he's just a game changer when you really look at it. And like we talked about, replacing AFB's impact. And look, it's just immense. He's been so powerful. I know he's your top of your tree in terms of one of the best on field.
Yep.
I got to say he's 8.5 for me. Would you put him up at a 9, or what'd you say?
Yeah, I'm going 9 for me, bro. Best on the field, 155 run meters out of 17 runs, 63 post contact, a try assist, a line break assist. Like, as I said, key moments is what he does really well. Great runs, great balance. He honestly, bro, 45 tackles in this contest, 3 missed out of there in the middle, but he leads some of the line speed. Defensively, bro, just unreal as well. And you hit the nail on the head. Like losing someone like AFB, Tohu Harris, a lot of these big experienced players that a lot of people are like, where are we going to get the meters from? Where are we going to get those consistent performers from? And we've got a guy from the Titans that didn't play him in that same position, and he's looking like one of the best 13s in the competition right now. He's probably one of the informed 13s in the competition right now for me. So, yeah, Aaron Clark, 9, bro. That when he came on the field and I saw that first run, breaking tackles, quick play to ball, I was like, you are a godsend to us. Thank you, Aaron Clark, and thank you, Gold Coast, for allowing him to come home.
Just quickly, yeah, I did see Aaron play 2 minutes of hooker at the back end there, and it looked pretty solid. It can be as a fill-in option. So, but I think let's keep him where he is at the moment. But man, if it's true, maybe we do. We look at that as well. Perfect 9.
Exactly.
That's great. That's a great result. Ford, I got to give this guy an 8. 2 double tries. You can't take away the double. Probably around a 7.5 performance, but with the tries on top, it's definitely put him up to an 8. He's been great, man. He's been doing his job. He's been rock solid. I can't take anything away from him.
But I'm looking back at mine, bro, and I'm like, maybe I should have put him a little bit higher. The double try, right? But the big thing from Jackson Ford, got for a ton of work, right? 147 meters, 62 post contact, obviously the big try and all that. It's 2 big tries, but no errors, and that's what we all want out of Jacko. Solid performance, no errors, get through your work, get out. And he did that tonight, and he's been really, really good for us to start the season. And I think I love his role off the bench now. Now that we've obviously pushed Marata to fill in that role till probably Fish comes back. I don't know whether it's just this week, but maybe we continue to roll with that because it looked great tonight. And we bring Jackson forward to fill in that middle part of the game. And that's a really big weapon to have a guy that's so sturdy that could be out there in the middle of the game and not have a drop off from those big boys that we have out there. So, yeah, incredible. I'm going to go at 8.5 or 8.5. Yeah, he's right up there, bro.
Oh, yep. No, fair enough. Demetri, I'm going to go 7.5. And the reason why, probably a performance around a 7, really. But I'm seeing progress in him. His work rate's picking up. It's definitely picking up. You can see his carries. Defensive work was really solid tonight. I'm gonna give him a bit more acknowledgement. So based on his age and where he's at, I'm gonna give him a 7.5 for his own personal improvement. But it was more like a 7, something like that, in terms of his overall performance. What do you have for Demetri?
I've got him 7.5 as well. I think that, coming off the bench, he feels so sturdy, bro. And like, people don't understand how young he is and what he's doing is it's mind boggling, right? I understand Leatoa is 19 doing what he's doing, but this guy, like, he's a future leader of our club, I believe. Like, he looks like he's a leader out there too. You look at him with Ali Leatoa, just a group that he has, those young boys. He's one of the big dogs in the middle. And defensively is where he lies for me. Like, he just looks stout every time he's out there. The only misstep I ever seen him have in defense was that West Tigers game where he looked for the slap, but he cleaned up in that very, very quickly. So for me, 7.5. And when we say that, it's never a negative because, as I said before, these guys' low points, if they're 7.5s or 7s or they're mid games and they have that consistently, that's amazing. Like, that's exactly where he wanted to be. And he'll only get better from this. He's only playing 30 minutes per game at the moment, but we're noticing him out there. Like, that's a key, right?
Based off that metric, I probably got to give Laban a 7. It could have been a 7.5, but it's probably similar as well. Maybe a bit harsh, but I think Laban was really, really solid. Probably is a 7.5. But yeah, I'll just give it a 7 for now. But yeah, really loved this game. Tidy as well. Physical, matching it with the big guns. Getting in the face of a Thompson, like, really getting under his skins. This guy, he's really imposing himself, which I love. But I think he's definitely got a breakout game coming at some point. What do you have for Laban?
I'm going to go with you. I'm going to go a 7.5 as well. Like, 40 minutes, the attacking side of things wasn't a massive part of him. And we know Jacob Laban from New South Wales Cup. He's got a really good attacking game over a long distance, right? It's 40 meters in this game, 18 minutes in 38 minutes overall. But what the key is here with Jacob Laban is 27 tackles, no missed out there.
Wow.
And he was monstering blokes, right? 27 tackles in 40 minutes. Really solid effort. That's like a lot of boys we had. Marata getting 23. Here was around it. Lek Alasima out there, probably 23 as well. 27 out of all those boys and didn't miss any of them. Although it was noticeable in that area. 7.5. I love having him on the bench now. All our young kids are starting to get time. And we are starting to see the future. It's slowly clicking over, and I think Webby's doing a really good job to harness these boys and continue to make them learn over time and not put them out there and just put them out with the wolves. Like, he's doing the best job for these kids.
No, bang on there. Yeah, it's looking really, really good. A 4 for me, probably a 5. Didn't really do too much. Gave away a penalty. Just one of those ones where he didn't have enough minutes either to really impacted. So I'm just giving him a flat 5 for me personally. I'm not sure what you'd have, Ash.
Yeah, I'm going about a 5 or a 6. It's very similar, right? Like, there was moments where I was like, oh, Bunty, like, he's so strong in the wrestle and defense and stuff like that out there. But again, like, judging on like Demetri, Laban's and all those boys and their performances where they're 7.5s, they're having really noticeable performance. Like, you can see Laban out there, you can see Lecker out there, you can see Vaimwanga out there, right? It was a little bit like Afoa was kind of getting lost in the magic, and that's what Afoa is. He's very consistent. He's baseline. He does what he does. He does that very well, right? But when we get the full strength, when Fish comes back into the lineup, more than likely Bunty's going to be the one to probably drop out for me, and then Marata will probably fill in that role. So Solid job, 6 in this performance. I'll give him just to be nice and just continue to do your job out there, champ. Because he's a big bear type of character and he does well at that.
Yeah, it is. Look, guys, we're nearly on 3 hours. It's a massive stream. I think we'll leave it there, Ash. Any last thoughts? Just I'll go first, and I'll let you go. I
100%.
think 5 and 2 guys cannot be discredited. Going back to what Levon's question, now we're top 4. Look, we don't want to jump that gun right now. I still think we want to see some away wins that are kind of you can bank and say, look, that's an away win that we feel solid that we can go away from home. Bro, make New Zealand a fortress. We're doing that. Look, we've got 4 wins in New Zealand. That's absolutely wonderful. I just need to see a few more difficult away trips. Maybe I think we've got the Dragons coming up. That's always a difficult one. Magic round, I think, is kind of neutral because we do well at Magic. Can do well at Magic. But for me, 5 and 2 can't be discredited. And I got to give massive credit not only to the halves, not only to Aaron Clark, to Egan, all that. This one's on Webby. We know the hits he was taking at round 1. People calling from, even myself, I was saying, is Webby at fault here? Look, to get this team to beat some quality sides in Brisbane, we just saw them smoke the Bulldogs. These are teams that if you're off the pace, they can really kill you. To get it to 5 and 2 at this stage, and I've said get to that Magic 12 number. Look, he's nearly halfway there, only after 7 games. Massive shout out to Webby for getting this right and trusting in the young players. And now we're seeing the young guns really start to shine. So that's, for me, guys, my last word on this game. But specifically this game, I said be professional in the build-up. Boys were professional. That's how you do. That's the type of performance you do to a team that's low on confidence, a team that's below you in skill. You put them away nicely. You don't let them in the game. Absolutely fantastic. I'll pass it over to you.
Yeah, right there with you, bro. Starting off with the season and so far, as you said, 5 and 2 should never be understated at the moment. What Webby's doing with the side, young side, he's doing all the right things. He's pulling all the right strings. And I want people to remember these moments, especially when this is a young side still. There probably will be still moments where we will dip a little bit, but we're doing all the right things right now to when those dips happen, we're allowing ourselves to bounce back at those dips, right? So, 5 and 2, we've got the Cowboys coming up next week at Magic Round. Cowboys are flying high at the moment. They're not a side like Newcastle where, they were very desperate, and those games are very scary games for the New Zealand Warriors. We've seen this in the past, and that's the thing we're changing over time, and I absolutely adore that. That's the one thing I love about the Warriors at the moment is coming to these games. As I said, you get that little nervousness of Newcastle. Will we be the side that allow Newcastle to bounce back on? No, we're too professional. We've done that. Absolutely. We ticked that box without Fisher Harris, without Dallin Watene-Zelezniak, without Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, without a lot of big key members in our side, right? And people got to understand, this is without Sean Johnson. This is without Tohu Harris. This is without Jazz Tavanga. This is without the amount of people that gave us any sort of chance to even start like this year. I think that we are literally, even though people are saying we're not playing our best football at the moment, I completely agree. We still got a bigger ceiling. That's what I believe. True. We got so much more to go. And to do this right now, 5 and 2, I'm excited to see what the future can bring, right? And that's what I'm very excited for overall. Looking back to the season, just quickly before we go, when we came up against the Manly Seagulls, everyone was saying we're going to get smoked by 40. We got the job done. We did that well. We gone against the Broncos. I believe everyone thought the Broncos were going to get over the top of us. Very desperate Broncos side. They were looking for a win. They showed that against the Dogs the week after. We got a job in that performance as well. Melbourne always been a tough test, and that will be ticked off in the future. I believe that. But right now we're doing all the right things in all the right games and ticking all the right boxes that we should be ticking as a club right now that's on the up. So I'm very, very happy. In a competition that anyone can win on their day, the Warriors are winning more times than not, and especially at home. That's what we've got to be happy about. So, guys, get happy about that. Also, don't get too high. Don't go too low. Sit there right in the middle. That's the perfect spot right there, guys. That's it right there.
Perfect.